Let's just pretend that this right here is not water, but this is actually milk. If I came and I told you that this milk right here, you can create cheese out of it, cheese, would you believe me? But now listen, let's just say this milk right here, not water, this milk, you can create butter out of it. Would you believe me? But then let's just say this milk right here, you can create things like, what is it, yogurt from it. Would you believe me? Obviously you're going to be like, yeah bro, I believe you. Like, I've seen this happen so many times. But milk is just milk. Like, it doesn't look like butter, it doesn't look like yogurt, it doesn't look like cheese and all that stuff. But you're able to basically take this and create all these different things. What does that mean, bro? That means that there's a process that this thing has to go through to become something else. For you, is the same thing. Right now, you're basically sitting and you're just watching me. You're watching my videos, you're watching me even speak right now. I want to tell you that basically, bro, there's a process that you can do right now to go from like wherever you are and to basically become what you're supposed to be becoming. Now for you, what is that process that you can use to become anything that you want? So for example, let's just say you want to become extremely rich, or you want to become like a person that as soon as they walk into the room, everybody's just like, who the heck is that guy? Then there's the process. But the beautiful thing about it too is that milk is the source, but all these other things that are being created by the milk, they're all coming from one source, which means that this one source it's deep in every single one of us. So basically, that process, we're gonna call it tafakkur. Tafakkur. Now, this is a word in Arabic. If you've read the Quran, then you would obviously know that tafakkur is something that's very big in the Quran, but there's not a single person on YouTube that I've heard talking about this, except like a few shuyukh here and there, but not a single person like my age talking about what tafakkur actually is. Now, tafakkur is what you're gonna do to basically take yourself from like wherever you are right now and become like a person who is different, but different in a way where it's like, again, if you walk into a room, you're just gonna be like a ball of light. If you go into any business that you want, any action that you do is going to be the perfect action. This is so important, bro. Now, the sad part about it is that I've only seen non-Muslims talk about this. Like, for example, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about this. He doesn't call it tafakkur, but he talks about this whole thing. He talks about this whole process. So let me teach you what this whole process is, because once you do this, I'm telling you, bro, you can be anything that you want. Now, listen. The word tafakkur, in of itself, it just means contemplation or thinking, like conscious thinking. So what Joe Dispenza says is that if you're trying to break the habit of being yourself, then you have to start basically becoming aware of the unconscious things that are happening within you, because that's the only way to basically become a different person. And then once you become aware of the unconscious things that are happening to you, then you basically start to get control over the things that are happening to you unconsciously. Let's just say, for example, you are the type of person that little things happen and they just make you angry. They just make you angry randomly. If you, in that state of anger, you start basically looking inward. You look within your heart. Who's the one that's angry? And then who's the one that's aware of the one that's being angry? You realize, bro, like this is such a powerful state to be in once you realize that there's someone that's angry and then there's someone that's being aware of the thing that's angry. So it's almost like, it's like this, right? It's like this. This is anger, and this is like the one that's aware. Once you do the tafakkur, once you become conscious of these unconscious things that are happening, in the moment of anger, it becomes like this. Like this is it. It becomes like this. So you basically start having control over the anger right here. And the reason why this is such a powerful thing to do is because, let's just say you take a match, you go into a dark place, and you open up this match. You're basically opening up a match in a very dark place. So you're able now to see this darkness with light. So you realize everything in your life, the things that you're putting in, like the things that you're attracting in your life, it's coming to you because there's something unconscious within you that's attracting all these things. And so it's so funny because when you do get angry, it's almost like something's coming out, this unconscious, that's running your whole life, and now it's coming out, so you're supposed to be aware of it. You're supposed to be aware of it, so you fix it. And so once you bring the light of awareness to this, that's how you fix it. The beautiful thing about it too, bro, is that the only thing that you need to be doing is just observe. Just observe it, and that's it. And so listen, people are going to come and tell you, they're going to be like, when you're depressed, do this. When you're angry, do this. When you're this, and do this. But you do realize you can do this even when, for example, like you're doing the religious things. Like, let's just say you're the type of person that's always like, I have to pray more and more and more and more. Just be aware. Who's the one that's saying, I have to pray more and more and more and more? Because when you realize that there's something within you that's saying, go pray, but then you're aware of the thing that's like aware of the one that's saying, go pray, Once you go and you actually pray, the prayer is going to have so much more beauty within this, because now you're coming into the prayer not from this state of like not from like a state where it's like, I'm the guy that is religious, or I'm the guy that likes this, I'm the guy that likes this and that. You're doing the things from a state of like just awareness, pure awareness. And this pure awareness is the thing that is literally going to set you free. There's an entire book actually written about this by that woman, Rhonda Byrne or something. She was like, this is the ultimate secret. The ultimate secret is not like you can manifest anything that you want and blah, blah, blah. The ultimate secret is being aware of everything within you. And once you do that, there's something that, like right here, that's like aware of everything. This awareness, bro, just the word awareness is so powerful. Now listen, why is that so important? Because once you do this, the more you do this, it's almost like you're bringing light into the unconscious things that are happening within you. There is actually an ayah in the Quran that says, and you did not throw, but it was Allah that threw the dust. And this is in Surah Al-Anfal, ayah 17 actually. It's not you that threw, it's Allah that threw. So it basically, Muhammad ﷺ, he was in war, and then he took dust, and then he threw it, or like a pebble, and he threw it at the enemy. So Allah saying, it's like, it's not you that threw that, it's Allah. What does that mean, bro? It means that once you, because Muhammad ﷺ was like the ultimate human being. So obviously he's done these things, he was aware of these things. He was doing tafakkur. So when Allah said that, it's almost like, bro, it's so beautiful. It's like Muhammad ﷺ was so aware of what's happening here, to the point that it wasn't just the name Muhammad was like in here, it was the light of Allah that was flowing through this body that we call Muhammad ﷺ. Bro, this is so powerful, because what's happening here is that it's almost like the self is gone. There's no more self. There's only the light of Allah that's flowing through this body. And so everything that you do, it's like infused with the spirit of Allah. Whenever I talk about this, bro, I always get people in my comments that are just like, you're doing shirk, you're doing this. And the sad part about it is that, like, you know, Isa alayhi salam, at the time of him preaching his message, everybody was calling him they would call him names that, it's like a mushrik, someone who's associating partners and stuff like that. But you realize like that the message is way more powerful than just that. You have the power of having the spirit of Allah within you, because you truly have that, bro. But the only issue is that when people are watching these videos of mine, they're watching it from a point of view of self. You're watching it from a point of view of self. Like the mind, the emotions is not you. You're the one that's aware of them, which basically means like all the goodness in the world is already within you. But this goodness that's within you is being distorted by the thinking, not like the conscious thinking that I just told you about, but like the overthinking, the past, the future, or like the emotions that you constantly feel that you're just addicted to, like the stress or the worry. Once you go beyond that, and then you look at, even when you read the Quran from this point of view, from this lens, where it's not like the self, but it's basically just the light, which is the true you, and you go and read the Quran from this point of view, you'll see, it's almost like you'll read it, and you're just going to be like, I've known about this, like I've seen this is so familiar. This is truly who I am. Like these words, it's almost like these are the words that were singing in my heart the entire time, because these words, they come from the heart. Muhammad ﷺ, do you realize, bro? Muhammad ﷺ, when angel Jibreel, when he was sending down the messages, he wasn't like coming down and he was like giving him a book and stuff like that. He was sending him the messages within the heart. And this heart is the same thing in every other human being. So this heart is almost like, think of it like a radio station. You just change the stations and you'll be able to get different tunes. Same thing with the heart. It's literally a radio station. That's why I told you it's electromagnetic, which means if you're able to change the station of the heart to a specific frequency, and then you go and you read the Quran, you'll be like, bro, this is exactly what's within my heart the entire time, because this is the true you. The words of the Quran, they came from the heart. This is the true you. And so this is beautiful. The practice that we're saying is that, like, just sit down and just be conscious, bro. Like, for example, when you're breathing right now, be conscious of the breath. Say the names, the 99 names of Allah. Say them. Like, for example, sit down and just be like, for example, the name Nur, which is light. Just be like, Ya Nur, Ya Nur. Just keep doing this over and over again. Be aware of the breath, man. The breath, you know why like the lungs and the heart are like so close to each other? It's because like the lungs influence the heart. So when you're aware of what's coming before the heart gets influenced, which is the breath, you'll be able to influence the heart in of itself. So when you're aware of the breath, don't ever go a single moment without having a breath unconscious. Because once you do that, you fell back asleep. You just fell back asleep. So now you're into the separation mode. You're into the false self mode. Once you become aware of the breath, and then you're back into connection, then you're back into the true you. You're back into the one that's not like the participant. You're back into the one that's the observer. Think of it like you're living your entire life as a movie, but you're not in the movie. You're the one that's actually observing the movie. Once you do that, you go back to being the milk. I told you the milk is the light. The milk is the light. And everything else that the milk creates is the movie. So when you're back to the light, you'll be able to influence everything else in the movie. So you'll be able to become the cheese. You'll be able to become the yogurt, or you'll be able to become something stale. Something like bad yogurt, or like rotten butter, or whatever. But the process is just basically going back to becoming a milk. And so in order for you to do that, again, tafakkur, bro, sit down, look at the thoughts that are happening in your mind, the feelings that are happening here. Just spread the light of awareness onto these things. Be aware of the breath. The breath is so powerful. Just be aware of it. And then once you do that, then you're back in the present moment. You're not like in the past. You're not stuck in the past. You're not stuck in the future. And through this, it's not going to be you who through. It's Allah who through. It's in the Quran, bro. Don't be coming and telling me, bro, what? And by the way, from this point of view, just so you know, everything else that you see in the world, it's almost like you'll see the face of Allah. This is also in the Quran. You literally see the face of Allah, like the manifestation of Allah. Allah says, like, wherever you look, you'll see the face of Allah. But you can't do this when you're identifying with the false you. That's why anytime you hear me saying these things, you're automatically, even the religious people, listen, just because you're like religious doesn't mean that you're like, you reached everything, like you know everything, like you're the highest thing. Once you like stop identifying with the false you and go back being aware of everything, you read the ayat of the Quran, and they're just going to resonate with you in such a way where you'll look at them, you'll read them, and just tears will start flowing from your eyes. And from this point of view, again, you can become anything. Because again, it's like the light of Allah that's the thing that's flowing within you. So you can become anything. You can become the rich person. You can become like the person that walks into a room and everybody loves them. Because you are the light. And the light can become literally anything.